everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Animation Pilgrimage. We have a very special episode this time because we have finished up all of the 1940s animated films, so now we're taking a break from the films to go back through the decade and look at the shorts that this era produced.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yeah, so now we're going to be taking a look at a lot of the more well-known or popular or just influential shorts that happened in this 10 years.
So from 1940 to 1949.
We didn't do one for up to 1939 at the end of 1939 because if anyone's been around for the whole thing, you'll know that we did one at the very beginning of Animation Pilgrimage before we even got to our first film, where we covered the very beginnings of all of the animation history up through shorts through 1939.
Right. So if you missed that episode, I will leave a link to it right here. It's our first episode of Animation Pilgrimage, and we talk a lot for a very long time, and it was fun, though, because we were looking at the very beginning of animation. However, now that we've been doing this for a little bit longer, and I have found some better lists and such of some shorts that we should be watching, and just my general, like, oh shoot, I forgot this. There are a few 30 shorts that we really should have covered that we ended up skipping.
Okay.
So, right now, what we're going to do is a little catch-up from the 30s, and there were about 6 shorts that we didn't watch that I felt we really should have, so we're going to take care of those first before we move into 1940. If you would like to go right into the 1940 shorts, I'll leave a link right here. Otherwise, I'll leave a timestamp.
Yeah.
But otherwise, let's talk about these 30 shorts really quick.
Yes. So, like you said, we have about 6. The first one was Bimbo's Initiation.
Yes,
Betty
this is
Boop
by...
short.
No, a Max and Dave Fleischer short.
Yes, but it's with Betty Boop. But like
it's a bimbo. It's a bimbo short. Bimbo was a character popular. And calling it a Betty Boop short is like calling a Mickey Mouse cartoon a Donald Duck short.
Okay, so same universe, different characters.
Right.
Okay, but Betty Boop even showed up in this one.
Right, but yeah. Anyway, you want to explain what happens in this one?
Hi, Fleischer Bros.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You're not a friend. So we get to go back to surrealism, everybody.
Sean's favorite.
Yeah.
Also, pardon Sean's cough. He's had a terrible cough for like the last month, and you've probably heard it in the videos, but
I just can't seem to get rid of this stinking cough.
Yeah.
This short involves Bimbo falling down
a manhole,
and he falls into a cult, and they're like, "You want to join?" And of course,
you want to be a member? You want to be a member?
No, I really don't.
No.
All right, then they try to kill him for a while, and then ask if he wants to be a member again. And then they try to kill him for a while, and ask if he wants to be a member. And it just keeps going.
And it's very creepy.
Creepy? I guess I didn't get that from it. I mean,
okay, maybe
it's
not
supposed
creepy,
to be creepy,
but it's not necessarily creepy. I agree, that's not the right word, but it's unsettling.
I mean, yeah, it's a freaking cult.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting subject matter.
Anyway, though, Betty Boop shows up, and she's a dog, because this is before she became just a human.
Oh, that's what was going on with her ears.
Yeah.
I was not sure.
That's what Betty Boop looked like before she got a redesign into just being a human.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, the literal only difference is that she has a black nose and ears. She's supposed to be like a poodle.
I don't know. Yeah, so...
But Betty Boop shows up and she asks Bimbo if he wants to be a member, and he's like...
Yes.
Yeah, baby.
And then all the cultists are there, and then they're all Betty Boop?
And they're all Betty Boop.
And I don't understand.
This whole thing.
Kind of the point of surrealism.
Yeah.
I don't
It's just like
it.
a fever dream.
I don't like nonsense for the sake of nonsense.
I think nonsense. One of my biggest problems with all of these surrealist cartoons is that they have no personality outside of the fact that
We're doing weird things.
That weird things are going on. They just remind me of that kid that we all know from high school who would say, like, lol random bullshit weird things and laugh, and everyone else would be like, no. You know, like, that's what these, like, if Bimbo had realistic reactions to some of the things happening around him,
yeah,
it would bring a bit more weight to a lot of this cartoon. But a lot of times,
he just rolls with it.
yeah, he has, like,
he's-
either a general shocked face
Or a general scared face.
And sometimes not even that. Sometimes he has a very neutral face. That, you know, even though something that is supposed to be really weird and scary happening to him, he's just like...
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to talk about this one.
Well, we both did agree after we finished watching it that there was some very cool animation from the environments and stuff,
yes,
and like camera movements.
That actually is true.
Yeah.
There were a few shots in this one where they really stepped up the difficulty level for themselves, especially at this point in 1931, with lots and lots of moving pieces where like the entire background is moving with a different piece moving on the front, aka I'm like thinking like the spiral staircase scene.
Right, and then when he like jumps and the camera actually like
the camera like
shifts.
Yeah, moving camera happens a few times in this thing where it's like...
And it doesn't look strained either. It looks very natural.
It looks very natural and well done. That's about the only good thing I can say about this, is they took some risks with some difficult shots and it paid off for... Visually. It visually paid off.
I think I wrote down a sentence after we finished watching it that I think pretty much sums up both of our thoughts on this one. I wrote down, interesting animation at times, but overall too nonsensical and off-putting to be enjoyable.
Agreed. If you like nonsense, watch it, I guess, but I don't.
Yeah.
Moving on, I'd say we can move on to one we missed in 1935, the band concert, which involves Mickey and Donald and I guess technically Goofy, and then a different Goofy, and then two pigs, Clarabelle and...
Do you remember his name?
Shoot, I do not.
Horace Horsecollar.
Horace, right.
Yep.
So, it's a whole ensemble cast, because they're offering a concert.
They're doing a concert out in the park.
Yeah. And as you might imagine, this one has a lot of music in it, and a lot of very well synced music, with a bunch of like audio-visual gags.
Yeah, this one's very much so in the vein, because a lot of these shorts followed a formula where, you know, it's like, we have these kinds of characters perform these kinds of shorts, and then we just change up the formula
a
for
bit
each
every
one.
time, yeah.
Yeah, so that we can do different gags here. And this one's very much in the formula of Mickey is performing a show, Donald comes along to try to mess him up, but Mickey gets the upper hand in the end.
But does he?
But does he? And this one's kind of... This this one kind of makes me want to talk about another one. The one where Mickey is putting on a magic show.
Okay.
But that one was interesting because I think it's one of the first ones where they have Mickey and Donald doing that kind of show dynamic. And then sometime in the 30s or 40s, they ended up redoing that exact same short in color with updated character models.
Okay.
Just an interesting bit of animation history that I thought was interesting to share.
Yeah. Are you talking about the orphan show?
Yeah.
Didn't we already talk about that in our first episode?
Did we?
I almost feel like we did.
No, I don't think that's one we covered.
Did we not?
I don't think so.
Are you sure?
I feel pretty sure.
Oh, how did we not talk about that one?
I don't know, but here, we're talking about it now, so...
And I'm sure we'll make sure some clips of that short are actually going on in the background so you can see it.
Yeah, and you could see, like, the old version and the new version.
Like a side-by-side, yeah.
Yeah, because it's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought of it now, so I thought I'd mention it.
Okay.
Anyway, to the band concert.
Yeah, the band concert, it was a lot of fun. Each character had, like, a few different jokes and gags that went with them. Mickey's still kind of an asshole in this one.
Oh, yeah,
He has not grown... This is one of the earlier ones where he hasn't grown out of being a total asshole yet.
Yeah. I like Mickey in this one.
Mm-hmm.
He's got...
He's got one thing he wants to do, and he's not going to let people fuck with it.
Right, he's really determined to get this thing done, and he gets really angry when Donald starts messing up his program.
Yup. It's fun.
And Donald's just being a complete dick.
Yeah.
And Donald still has his, like, old character design.
Yeah, old character design with, like, the long bill and stuff.
And the long neck.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was interesting, because I thought we had seen some old, one a year or two earlier that had the updated design.
No.
But obviously not, so I'm just getting mixed up here.
Yeah. No, but this short, I especially want to draw attention to the gags with the sound itself.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, this is an amazing sound cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of those cartoons that uses sound so effectively and just... It's like, yes, this is the reason why we have sound cartoons now. It's one of those things that's so easy to take for granted now, of course. But, like, there's one a little bit later that we're going to be talking about where the sound is a problem. I don't know if you necessarily know what I'm talking about, but I will talk about it when we get to that.
I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, this is one where they used sound very effectively to convey all kinds of different themes and jokes and concepts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm talking in super vague ways that make it sound like I haven't actually seen this one.
We just watched it, Sean.
Yeah, I know. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have Clock Cleaners from 1937. It's another Mickey, Donald, and Goofy short.
Mm-hmm. So a lot like Moving Day, it's that sort of formula dynamic. Mm-hmm. But what I really, really like about this one is the feeling of the height that they're at.
Yes.
Is so well done. Even though you're not really scared of any of the characters getting hurt because they're cartoon characters, you are scared of them falling. You know?
Yeah, actually. Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just a great sense of weight to everything going on in this short. And of course, there's still the whole dynamic with all three of them have their own little problems. It's a lot like Moving Day. I personally like Moving Day more.
Yeah, but I would agree.
Yeah, but I usually see this one on, like, lists of the greatest cartoons of all time lists as opposed to Moving Day. I don't know why. I think Moving Day is a lot funnier.
Yeah, I was like, that's kind of the thing I was thinking while watching this, is like, I don't actually know if I find any of these segments funny,
Really?
per se.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
I think the jokes in Moving Day just work so much better, which is one of the reasons why I chose that one over this one. But it was on, like, I've seen it suggested so many times on, like, greatest cartoon lists and stuff that I was like, okay, fine, we'll watch Cock Cleaners.
I don't get it.
Yeah. Other than the animation, like I said, with the animation being just so good about, like, showing that height and, like, vertigo, I guess.
Yeah.
And the inside of the clock is really cool, too.
That is true. Like, there was some cool shots of all the gears and stuff moving and clicking and such.
Plus, I guess it's got, like, the nice sound things going for it. Like, the way they start the cartoon with them kind of singing with the clock is really cool. I love the shot of Mickey cleaning the face of the clock as the hand ticks up and it zooms in.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good.
Like, probably from a visual and technical standpoint, this short is quote-unquote better, but I just think the comedy works so much better in Moving Day.
I agree.
Yeah. So, moving on to Porky in Wacky Land.
From 1938. Is this the first of these shorts from...
Merry Melodies?
No.
Well, Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes.
Merry Melodies.
Merry Melodies, Looney Tunes?
Yeah, Looney Tunes was called Merry Melodies.
Okay.
Because Disney had silly symphonies.
Of course. Alright.
Alright, let's go, Warner.
Is this the first one we've seen from them?
I think it's the first one we've seen. It is not the first, like,
Okay.
Porky Pig. But Porky Pig was the first Merry Melodies / Looney Tunes star.
Oh. How neat, I guess.
Which is why he's always, like, the head man of the eebity, that's all, folks.
Okay. Yeah, I always wondered why it was him and not, one of the more popular characters that come along later.
Yeah, I mean, like...
But if he was one of the first, that makes more sense.
Right, it's like 50s and onward, Porky kind of goes through the same thing a lot of these era cartoons go through, where they just don't have any personality, especially compared to their counterparts that were created more in the 40s and 50s. Because, like, Porky's personality is that he has a stutter.
Yeah, and that's not a great...
Characteristic?
No.
No.
No, one could say it's...
insensitive? To put it lightly.
Yeah. Anyways, I actually only wrote one note for this. It is 2 words.
Yeah?
Fuck surrealism. That's all I put. That being said... So, okay, this one is pretty much Porky Pig going to find the dodo in Wacky Land.
Which apparently is in Africa. Not just Africa.
Darkest.
Not dark Africa, not darker Africa, darkest Africa.
That's insensitive.
That's a tasteless joke, I say in parentheses, because I don't think it's very funny.
No.
It's just kind of a weird thing you did.
Weird, kind of bad taste thing.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to mention that this one was directed by Bob Clampett, who was one of the original Merry Melodies Looney Tunes animator guys. We'll definitely be talking about him a bit more as we go into some of these other shorts. He's all right.
Okay. Yeah, so pretty much Wacky Land is just a land where any surrealist bullcrap you want can happen.
It's Toontown.
Yeah, essentially. It's just a bunch of random bullshit. And then we finally get to the dodo. And then I can actually kind of stand some of the surrealism. Because it's
so in your face in the first
it is
bit. It is
unbearable.
like there's some cool animation, and there's a lot going on at the same time, but that does not equal quality. It is...
It's just there to
It's
be in your
irritating to
face.
watch. Yeah.
Once we finally get to the dodo itself, it gets a bit better. I at least think it's like more palatable just because it's based around 2 characters as compared to 500 different characters all doing different things at the same time.
Right.
And they also have better character design.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and it's just more of the trope that we are about to see a lot of, the crazy bird character.
yeah,
Crazy annoying bird character.
what? I don't know any other crazy bird characters ever, forever, and all time that
Nope.
exist anywhere
No,
in early animation.
no,
None.
nada.
Yeah, past all of that, I don't know.
Yeah, there's,
I don't know what else to
I don't
say.
have much to say about this one either. It's
like
just an
you can
odd
definitely.
one.
It's like you can definitely see this is where a lot of where their humor gets started, and it's still growing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's interesting to look back on this one from a historical context, but just taking in the short for what it is by itself,
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of it.
no. So then we have Popeye the Sailor meets Sinbad the Sailor.
Yeah, from 1938. Hello, Fleischer Bros.
Yeah, an actual Fleischer Bros cartoon I can stand.
Yes, because it's Popeye, and
Popeye's more manageable.
generally.
Yeah.
Especially when you get this far into it. This one was significantly longer than any other short we've seen so far. It was like twice the length of any of the others.
Right, most shorts land somewhere in the 8 to 10 minute mark. This one was
15, 16 minutes, something like
This
that.
was 16 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it, to its credit, it doesn't feel that long. Watching it, it feels well paced. Everything happens.
It gives time for each of its jokes that it wants to tell to have its time to tell the joke.
Yeah.
So even if we didn't necessarily think all of them landed very well, they at least had the time that they needed for the jokes to work.
Right.
If they were going to.
This one even has a pretty nice song. I like the song in it all right, the one that Sinbad sings.
About himself, yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. There's some great background art, and the title cards especially I just kind of want to draw attention to because I thought they were gorgeous. But the title cards were gorgeous, and the backgrounds, from what we can tell, all look to be live action set pieces.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but
There's a couple of random live action set pieces, like when he's in the cave. It's like, I think that's live action.
Yeah, there's a couple of others where it's like it's a panning shot, and for sure it has to be live action because it's just like there's no way you got your multiplane camera to make something like this.
And for that sake, good on you guys. I think it paid off pretty well.
Yeah, it looks really good. In general, the artwork and art direction in this one's really good.
And honestly, all of the actual fighting and combat that happens in this, I think lands pretty well.
Yeah. The jokes I don't think land so well. I think part of the problem, and we're going to go back to what I was talking about earlier with the whole sound issue thing.
They are constantly talking.
The sound in this one is pretty bad. It's like they just gave the actors
the video and just mumblecore through it.
Yeah, because I don't... See, that's the thing, is
we just need you to continue talking. We don't really care what you're saying. Just say things.
Right. I think this one, very much so, was animated before they put sound to it.
Yeah.
And then they put the actors all in a sound room together, and they're just like, go! And the sound... and the actors didn't have much of a script, like they were told to ad-lib, and And they did, because there's a lot of times that the characters are talking, especially Popeye, and his mouth's not moving.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So and
it's not even that they need to necessarily redo the whole thing to make it better. I think if they just cut some of Popeye's mumbling out of the background,
it would help significantly. Because that's just a thing that Popeye does a lot in his shorts from the Fleischer Bros, or just Fleischer Bros in general, is they'll just have characters mumble to themselves through the entire course of the thing.
Too much noise, man. I prefer deliberate sound.
Yeah. Janelle, I have a question for you. Would you say this is probably Fleischer Bros are the origin of the jangling keys genre?
Are you gonna make me toss down that hammer?
Yes. What I mean by this is a movie that is literally there, just like someone's pulled keys out of their pocket and is jangling in front of the baby's face just to keep their attention with visual, audio, sensory stimulation, and that's all it is.
I don't know. I want to give Fleischers more credit than that.
Okay. Do you think this helped develop that?
No. Maybe. No. No.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to shit on Fleischers, because I do think that this is one of their better shorts.
Oh, most definitely.
I really enjoyed this one. And I definitely see where people come from who really
enjoyed Popeye.
Who really liked Popeye, or even who really like Betty Boop and really like Bimbo and some of the older Fleischer stuff. It is just not our thing.
It's very true. I think another reason I enjoy this one is the surrealism is next to none.
Yeah. I do like Popeye's one line when the boat gets chopped in half and he's like, "Ah, that was a nice boat we had."
Yep.
That's a good line.
And as it goes over, he's like, "I'll man the dinghies." Or the lifeboats or something.
Yeah.
Even though there aren't any. Like we said, he just mumbles continuously, and one or two of the jokes
are really funny. It's just too bad that he's constantly mumbling more and more jokes, so the jokes don't have time to just breathe.
Yeah.
So that just leaves our last short, which we talked about on an Animation Pilgrimage, and I was like, yeah, we'll get to watch that for the 40s, and then I looked up the date of it, and I was like, oh, that was in 1938. Crap! We've got to watch it.
So anyways, what we're talking about is The Brave Little Toaster.
Shame on you! Shame! Did you just...
I did. I just completely said the wrong name.
Wow.
I meant The Brave Little Tailor.
No recovering from that one.
Nope.
Forever shall you be in the Hall of Shame. The Brave Little Tailor is a great short. Mickey has so much personality in this one, and I love it.
Oh, yeah, he's just oozing.
Like, he actually...
Oozing character everywhere.
It's still very Mickey Mouse. You know, his character isn't anything to, like, write home about. He doesn't have, like, the most crazy out there personality to work with. But the story beats just work so well in this one. And every emotion he has reads so well.
Mm-hmm. It feels fairly genuine.
Yeah, it's like this one's filled with a lot of genuine emotion from Mickey. The other characters are just kind of secondary characters.
7 in 1 blow.
7 in 1 blow? I love that line.
It's such a good line. It's so stupid, but it's so fun.
I killed 7 with 1 blow!
7?
If you aren't familiar with this short, this is one where Mickey is a tailor in a kingdom,
that is being,
medieval kingdom.
Yeah, and it's being attacked by a giant, and he's minding his own business and is being bugged by a bunch of flies, and he gets them, all 7 flies with one blow, and then he jumps out the window like, I killed 7 with one blow, and people thought he was talking about giants.
Because they're all talking about giants.
Mm-hmm. So the town goes nuts, and he's brought before the king, and he has to tell the story where he never specifically says he killed flies.
Right, or didn't kill giants.
Yeah.
So it's all just a big misunderstanding, and everybody in the kingdom thinks he's a giant killer.
Yeah,
so
they
like,
send him out to go kill this one giant.
Yeah.
And Mickey's like, wait a minute.
Oh, crap. What have I gotten myself into?
But I guess if I do this, I get the hand of the Princess Minnie in marriage, so I'll try. I'm gonna die.
I'm so gonna die. And then there's some wonderful animation. I always loved the animation of the giant stomping through the countryside, and just like all these things that he's stepping on, just getting wrecked, or like when he's stepping through the water
splooshing everywhere.
Yeah, and Mickey running away.
Yeah, that's some fantastic animation. And just, even though it takes Mickey all of like 5 seconds to actually take the giant down then, it's a lot of fun.
There's a lot of build up to it.
Yeah, because he's just like continuously trying to hide and not get eaten accidentally and things like that.
Yeah, this is another great one that we talked about in our first episode when we were covering the 30s, where it's just that what I love to see from Disney is great art, great story, a lot of personality.
Yes.
And it's just all 3 of those things. Mwah! They kiss, and they make a lovely baby.
Brave little Taylor toaster.
No. We'll get to that. A long time from now, we will get to that.
Yeah.
And so that's really all we have to say about these 30s, and that covers the rest of the cartoons from the 30s that we wanted to cover.
So there, we've caught up with what we missed.
As you could probably tell, this is going to be a long episode.
Yeah, this is going to be a long episode, because I think we've done around 30 minutes or so already?
Probably. Anyway, we're going to take a short break and go watch our 40s cartoons, because we didn't want to get them mixed up with our 30s cartoons, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back. So we have just gone and watched all the shorts that we're going to be watching from 1940 through 1949. Okay, there was a lot here, so it's going to be a long episode. Oh yeah.
And as you can already tell, we've already spent so much time on just catch-up work. Now we're going into the stuff that's actually supposed to be talked about.
So Sean, tell me.
Yes.
As a general feeling, how do you feel about this decade?
I don't like it.
You didn't hesitate at all.
No.
In that answer.
No, I didn't.
Fair.
It's kind of a war going on, which,
War does not bring out the best in people.
No, it warps everything into terribleness.
Yes, so I'm afraid that if you are sensitive to certain imagery,
overly racist imagery.
Yeah, this may not be an episode for you, and also we are probably going to have more negative things to say in this episode than we necessarily try to do, so...
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a couple in here that I do legitimately enjoy quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But there's...
Just be warned.
Be warned. We're going to talk about
40s, and
some
we're going
really
to
bad
talk
stuff.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the 40s. So, let's get into this. We start on a pretty positive note, I would say, with You Ought to Be in Pictures.
Yes.
From 1940, and this is obviously a Warner Brothers short, Merry Melody / Looney Tunes.
It's starring Porky Pig and Daffy Duck?
Yep.
Daffy Duck. I forgot his name for a moment. Is this the first time we've seen Daffy Duck? I believe it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we just saw a Porky Pig one when we were doing our wrap-up for the 30s.
Yeah, so... I don't know. This is a weird one. Mm-hmm. Because it's all mostly live action with Porky Pig put on top of it.
It feels like it's paying homage to the cartoons we watched about 20 years ago, where it was cartoonists bringing their cartoon to life with ones like Coco the Clown from Fleischer or Alice's Wonderland.
Yeah,
from
it
Walt
feels
Disney.
very... I want to watch you.
I want to watch you draw the funnies.
Yes.
And the short starts out that way, but then it takes it a step further and actually shows the characters reacting in an actual Hollywood environment.
Yeah. And
treating them like actual people.
Yeah, which is weird.
I don't think it's weird.
Honestly, you know what this makes me think of? I mean, it makes me think of... shoot, now I can't remember the name of it. But the insane movie that... the rabbit...
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It makes me wonder if Steven Spielberg grew up watching this short. I don't know how old he would have been at this point, but if he saw this short and others like it and I like this concept of cartoons being just thought of as other actors and stars, and what can we do with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I love this concept, and it probably does come from growing up with Who Framed Roger Rabbit and also TV shows like Bonkers and stuff like that. But I love the idea of the cartoon characters just being actors.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing.
And I think it's a concept that there's almost always more that you can do with this concept. And this short is like the beginning of that. It doesn't take it to too many crazy places. But one thing I do want to point out is that we have come such a long way from when we started and now showing personality in animation.
Yeah, actually, yes.
So that's one thing I really want to praise about this short. Other than that, just general, the plot of this one is that, it stars Porky and Daffy, and at the time, Porky was a bigger star for Warner Brothers. Porky... Daffy's trying to convince Porky to leave.
And go become a movie star because he's better than cartoons. So that Daffy Duck can take his place and be like, I can totally become a bigger star than Porky Pig. Come on, sign me on.
Which is just...
It's hilarious because...
Daffy's way more popular than Porky Pig.
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even just give it a couple of years.
Yeah.
And, yet another duck has
entered
ousted the previous standby character.
Studio mascot.
I think that's pretty much all that needs to be said about that one.
This is an enjoyable one. I would suggest looking it up if you're interested.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, next up we have A Wild Hare, also from 1940. This is the first Tex Avery short we've watched.
Yes. This will be the first Tex Avery short we will have watched, and this is also what people deem as the quote-unquote first Bugs Bunny short. And first comes with a lot of air quotes, because there's been a rabbit in Merry Melodies shorts before this that definitely,
Kind of resembles Bugs.
But this is the first short that he acts like Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, and you can even tell in this one that it's still a rough approximation of what he will become.
But there's so many mannerisms that crop up in this short in particular.
Like, what's up, Doc?
Yeah. What's up, Doc? And just the general personality and kissing.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of kissing.
So much kissing.
So much kissing. And he isn't named by Bugs Bunny in this short, but by the time we
named as Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, he isn't named as Bugs Bunny in this short, but the next short that Bugs would be in, Elmer's Pet Rabbit, that is actually directed by Chuck Jones, which we did not watch because we've got a lot of shorts to get through. We can't watch them all. But in that one, he's actually named Bugs.
Okay. So he has his name by that point.
Even though I have a lot to praise about this one, just like showcasing Bugs, I guess, I do want to say that the background art in this one looks good, and the humor is pretty good, but most of the humor is coming from the writing and the voice work, and not necessarily from the animation.
Yeah, it's a lot more like audio jokes as compared to visual jokes.
Which has usually been a thing in companies that are not Disney.
Yeah.
Not to say that Warner Brothers doesn't have visual jokes, because they do. They have a lot of great visual jokes later. But this short in particular is one that kind of leans more towards that written joke.
Talking jokes.
Right. And of course, Mel Blanc is doing voice work here, and that's great. So, anyway, moving on to our next one.
Yes, next up we have Superman from 1941. Another Fleischer cartoon.
Yeah! This might be the last Fleischer cartoon we watch.
That doesn't surprise me. I was kind of surprised we're still seeing more.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What?
This one was fantastic. They got the license.
Pour one out for Fleischers, man. They did a great job. Well, I say they, but Max Fleischer did a great job.
They got the licensing with Action Comics, or I don't know if it was DC yet.
I don't know.
Whoever owned Superman at the time, whatever they were called, got together with them, made this cartoon that was literally just, this is Superman.
Yeah.
And he takes down an evil scientist dude who's got a death ray. The most generic thing possible, which would have still been quite interesting back in the day.
Right. I honestly really enjoyed this one. There were 17 of these Superman shorts made.
Oh, were there?
And I wouldn't mind looking into
Some of the others?
Yeah, some of the others at some point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the first one.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. And I love it. Just everything about it.
I think this was so well suited for Fleischer.
Yes.
When Fleischer is given story material to work on, like we've watched, Gulliver's Travels by them, it's like, honestly, adapting the story, they do a decent enough job. And the Superman art style is also great for Fleischer's.
Yes. That's one thing I would just want to say. I love early comic book aesthetic.
Yeah.
Where there's like, especially the faces. Like Lois Lane in this, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just absolutely gorgeous. Clark Kent / Superman, exquisitely, what a hunk of rock. I love him. just a block.
Yeah.
Everyone else, so enjoyable to look at. There is not a character in this that I thought looked bad. Okay, maybe the bird. The bird was a cartoon bird.
Yeah.
But everyone else followed the comic book art style. I just love it because it's so simplistic and like very bold, simplistic shapes for like mouths and noses and eyes.
And like the lines leading from one to the other, like the mad scientist typically has like a line from his nose to his mouth that's showing like his cheek area. And yeah, I love little touches like that.
I just love that simplistic character design. That I have no idea how difficult that was to animate it all.
I don't know.
I just don't know.
But I mean, Fleischer does such a good job with this they've perfected their own rotoscoping technique here.
Yes, because it's definitely still a lot of rotoscope, but it works so well.
Yeah, like it's stylized enough here.
They have figured out how much of it to use.
Yes.
And this isn't even talking about like the gorgeous lighting effects of the actual laser beam. And like when Superman is like pushing it off, which is hilarious. He's just punching a laser beam. Because that's how that works. Oh, it's so good.
I wanted, one of my notes here that I wrote down was, honestly, genre defining, and still relevant as we look at our current superhero craze.
Yes. Yeah, most definitely. Hey, DC?
Can you have fun, please?
Can you just, like, start over? Start over again. I know you've started over, like, 5 times. But,
it's okay
your
for
cinematic movie,
superheroes to be simplistic.
Yes. Your cinematic movie universe right now sucks. Start over, please.
We want more of this. This was nice.
Give us charming, lovable Superman.
Yeah, even, like, there's that nice little shot there at the end where Lois is like, oh, it's all thanks to Superman. And Clark Kent, like, gives a little wink to the camera. It's like, you.
I want charming, bumbling idiot Clark Kent back. Come on, we don't need the Jesus allegories and killing people.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But anyway, yeah, that's a really good one. If you've not seen those, definitely, I'd say give those a watch.
Next up, Disney.
Woo!
We're going to The Little Whirlwind.
I love this show!
1941. This is a Mickey short where he's trying to get a cake that Minnie's making. So he's going to clean up the yard, and a little whirlwind comes along and screws with him.
Yep.
Until tornado...
Because it's a baby tornado.
Yeah. So the mama tornado comes along and wrecks everything.
I love the animation for the tornadoes and the leaves. And then when the big tornado comes and it's like ripping the ground up and stuff. Oh, it's so satisfying and cool.
Also, if you notice, it uses the same storm music as that one short we just watched for the 30's. The music concert, when they were doing the storm part of that, this is the same piece of music, except played again. It's updated.
Slightly different. Yeah.
It was updated, but it's the same concept behind it.
The storm music here is so nostalgic for me, because I used to watch this short as a kid.
Oh, same.
And I love the little, like, bum ba bum ba bum ba ba da da. It, like, I love this one.
Whoop. Whoop. It is interesting that this is only 3 years after the last Mickey short we watched.
Yeah, The Brave Little Tailor. And look how different Mickey is.
He is lanky, wobbly.
He's a lot more angular.
Yes, that's the word for it.
Instead of perfect circles, he's become more oval-ish. And this just kind of shows what a rough spot Mickey was in.
They're like, we gotta rework him.
Right, Disney was trying things over and over and over again just to try and get Mickey back into the popular conscious and to just keep changing him up. And, I think we're gonna see some other Mickey shorts later on in
He looks different again.
He looks different again. I mean...
And I mean, near the end of this decade is when we see the Beanstalk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
and he looks completely different there again.
Yeah, although that's more of his modern...
Yeah, that's where they've pretty much solidified his design.
I will say one thing I don't like about this design of Mickey in particular is the actual mouse ears.
Yeah.
It just looks weird.
Yeah, his mouse ears look really weird here because they bend them, they move them around. They're not always facing front.
I don't mind that. I like the actual solidity of his ears.
Pointy.
Yeah, but it's just the fact that he actually has ears, like the actual drawing on the inside of his ears. That's what bugs me.
Okay, yeah.
And the fact that obviously the ink and paint department had a problem with it too, because only half the time are they coloring it correctly. So his ears are flashing all the time.
His ears are definitely an issue.
One of my notes for this one though is just like, there's so much fantastic character animation in this one. The staging, and the characters have such great weight and like squash and stretch to them in this short that it's like, especially after watching some of the Looney Tunes cartoons, there's
such a vast difference between Disney animation and anyone else that we've seen.
I'm just gonna say it right now. I prefer Disney 95% of the time compared to Warner Brothers stuff. And a lot of that just has to do with my own personal tastes, obviously. But a big factor in the animation is the animation itself, because the
characters
love
are animated,
solid drawing, and I love character animation. And I love being able to look at a drawing and feel its three-dimensionality in a two-dimensional drawing.
Yeah, because that's something that we won't see a whole lot in any of these other cartoons for the most part, is all the Looney Tunes stuff, it's very flat. It's like, these characters are cartoon characters. They're just cartoons, they're drawings, they'll get flattened, they don't have weight. They're not solid creatures.
It's something that's hard to explain. And I could, if I was doing like a Tennille Teaches on this, it's like I could explain it more thoroughly with examples. But it just, the way that the characters are staged, the way that they squash and stretch, and the way that they pose, all adds up and either can make a very three-dimensional character or a flat character. And, Looney Tunes is just not aiming for that kind of animation.
Yeah,
and that's fine, honestly. They work with that medium, they work with that flatness well. But I just prefer...
They prefer... Looney Tunes definitely deals with a smaller budget, I feel.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you can
Most
tell,
of the
because
time, yeah.
that's why they use that to their advantage. And all of their jokes are very slapstick, lots of standing around and then like blur frames and stuff like that. Oh, and
this decade we're going to be dealing with a lot of Tex Avery. And Tex Avery does a great job with like smear frames and stuff like that. And doing like wild, crazy animation on a limited budget. And then when Chuck Jones comes around, which we will get into, Chuck Jones is a master at doing limited animation that is so funny.
Yes. He is very, very, like, these two guys are really good at making people laugh.
With a small budget. Anyway, we should get off the little whirlwind so that we can actually talk about them, because our next one is the Dover Boys of Pimento University.
So, if you've poked around to Neil's channel that you're on right now, you will know that she has done a full episode on smear frames.
And this short,
Specifically
essentially.
this short.
I talk about some other things too, but it was mostly an excuse to talk about this short. I love this short.
So I don't know if we'll talk about it very long, or who knows, maybe we'll sit here and just talk about it for another 10 minutes.
Blether on about it forever. The Dover Boys is so good, and it's exactly the kind of thing we need before we get into the rest of these shorts. Oh my god. Then the war starts, and then there's no fun ever for always. But at least there's the Dover Boys to keep me sane.
Anyways, yeah, the Dover Boys, it was there to just be completely over the top and see how far they could just push smear frames and just making fun of every trope they could possibly think of that was popular at the time.
And the way they do smear frames is so different and unique in this short, because for a lot of times, for a lot of films and such before this, smear frames were done as like an airbrushing technique that the ink and paint department would do afterwards, or they do little like wisp lines like a comic artist would do. But in this one, they actually just stretch the face
drawings.
And I love it.
They just take the drawing and make it feel like the whole thing is stretched across the entire screen.
It's so good.
This is one of those that you should watch and then just watch on like 1/4 speed or something, just to see the insane
smear frames
that are in this thing,
I
because
love
they
it.
go by so fast that you're probably not going to catch all of it.
I love it.
It's good stuff. It's got great comedy. It's got
It's
great
so
animation.
quotable. I mean, I still get people quoting this at me from time to time. And I love it. I hate Tom. I hate Dick.
And I hate Larry.
They drive me to drink. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Okay.
I'll steal it. No one will ever know.
Okay. Now that you've peeked the mic 500 times.
Oh, I don't care. I love it so much. It's so good. And I just want to also say before we continue past this one, though, that both before and after this one, Chuck Jones... I say this in my video about this short, too. So give that a watch if you haven't. But Chuck Jones was almost fired before this short was made. And so he's like, well, fine. You're going to fire me? Fuck you. So he made this short. And then they're like, well, now we've definitely got to fire you. And then everyone thought, like, the public loved this short. Even though the higher-ups at Warner Brothers were like, what the fuck did you just do, Chuck?
What did you make?
What did you just do? And then they're like, alright, you're actually pretty funny. Or at least everybody else thinks you're funny, so I guess you get to stay.
Yup.
Good call, Warner Brothers. Good call.
Okay. And, we're out of fun time.
Yep. Fun's over, kids. Go home.
The war started.
Yep.
Now we we have to sit through propaganda.
Yep. I tried sprinkling in some non-propaganda. I hope you're appreciative of that.
Hopefully it's enough. So the first one we watched was The Ductators from 1942.
My first note on this movie, or this short, is at least the shit was only filmed in black and white.
That is true.
And that is at least always true for the Warner Brothers ones.
Yeah, they cut the budget even farther and only did these in black and white and didn't even bother with color for their propaganda stuff.
Yeah.
Disney did.
Granted, that also meant that they made a lot more. They made a lot of propaganda films. A lot.
Yes, they did.
And we are not covering even half of them.
Yeah.
So...
half of them is, or less than half is, still way more than enough.
Just about more than I can take.
Uh-huh. I only have one note on the Ductators.
Uh-huh.
All I wrote was, oh no.
Oh no. I mean, as you guys can probably see, because we have images up of the cartoons that we are talking about, do we even need to put words to this? Like, you see what we're seeing, right?
Nazi Hitler duck.
Uh-huh. There's a lot of Nazi Hitler ducks we see.
Yeah. Why is Hitler always a duck?
Because apparently ducks were really popular to draw in the 40s.
Because everyone wanted to draw birds.
Apparently.
Always birds.
This whole thing, though, is just a commercial to sell war bonds. Like,
yeah.
These old Warner shorts, there's no point to them.
Nothing happened.
Yeah,
there
especially
was no overarching story or anything.
Yeah, these war ones, it is just a string of quote-unquote jokes put together for like 9 minutes, and then slap a, hey, buy war bonds.
And then it's over.
And then it's over. And there's just nothing. It's so completely tasteless. All these stereotypes and making fun of the enemy and demonizing the enemy. Because it's just giving American people what they want to see. With no real solution or no real actual commentary.
Yeah, nothing. It's just
It's just fueling
we're better than
that
them because
fire
they're
of
dumb.
hate. And I mean, yes, the Nazis are very hateable.
Don't get us wrong.
Bottom line,
Nazis are bad.
Bottom line, like, yeah. We want to defeat the enemy here because that would have been horrible if we didn't. But I just hate the pushing of hating other people.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Moving on. The Olympic champ.
Okay, yeah, you threw this one in there. It's not propaganda.
Not even like a top 100 cartoons ever recommended to watch kind of thing. It's just, I like Goofy, so we're gonna watch a Goofy short, damn it.
And it's a good one. This is one of the classic Goofy sports ones where it's Goofy demonstrating how to sport ball.
Yeah, this definitely falls in line of the formula of the Goofy how-to shorts.
And, yeah, so Goofy is showing you how to do all these different Olympic sports, except he's incompetent at all of them, and that's where the fun comes in.
Right, and the announcer, of course, is as calm and debonair.
And just explaining how to actually do the things, except half the time, he's not even right.
No, yeah, he's also wrong, but he's wrong in a, like... He's wrong in a you have to be educated to catch on that he's wrong kind of way.
Yeah, because I've definitely watched some of the others, and it's like, yeah, I know enough about this subject matter that I know you're saying the wrong shit here.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, because if you don't know, it sounds like he knows what he's talking about.
Right. I guess that's another thing I like about some... I hate to just
Subtle
constantly...
humor.
Yeah, it's just like, it's humor that you have to be paying attention to catch on to. And I prefer that over humor that is just in your face.
Slapped him with a pan.
Yep.
Yeah.
But one reason I love Goofy shorts in general, especially these how-to shorts, is there's such cool exercises in animation and like practicing these movements that otherwise the Disney animators probably wouldn't get to do.
Yeah, it's this tall, lanky, like awkward character trying to do
Olympic
sports, and obviously he's just gonna be really goofy about all of it.
Right.
He's trying hard, but he just
can't.
He just can't do anything correct.
And it's great, because I love the posing. It's like there's such strong posing.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where you can
animations. I love it.
You can take out a single frame from pretty much this entire short, and it's like,
that's a great pose.
Look at that pose. That's so much fun.
Yeah. It's just so much fun to watch, even if the whole is just kind of it's fine.
But this isn't specific to only this short or anything.
Right. That's just goofy in general.
Goofy is good shit.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Back we go to more propaganda, and we got...
At least it's a Disney one this time.
We have a lot
I prefer
in a row.
the Disney propaganda.
Mm-hmm. If I had to ingest propaganda, I'd go for the Disney propaganda.
No.
Anyways, this is Education for Death.
Making of the Nazi.
And this is not supposed to be funny.
What makes a Nazi?
Oh no, this is not a funny short.
No, this is
Let's look into the process.
showing
To begin
exactly
with, control
how
over the
Nazis
child's
are made.
as soon as it's born.
It's talking about brainwashing children and bringing them up in a way that benefits you, whoever is in charge. You can take this concept and use it any way you want.
Right. Yeah, it's like, this is a well-written short.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, yes, this is showing how Nazis are specifically made, but...
they specifically show the life of a child growing up in Nazi Germany and how Nazi Germany would affect him from a baby to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes the subject matter really seriously for the most part.
There's, like, nothing lighthearted about this one.
There's a couple of things that I have complaints about.
Okay.
I wrote in my notes that it's so close to being tasteful, thoughtful commentary, and it has very powerful imagery and ideas, but falls short. And where I think it falls short is that it has that whole section there in the middle of it where it's talking about how Hans has grown up with fairy tales where they've replaced characters.
Okay, yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah, and they turn Sleeping Beauty, they say, it's like he grows up with Sleeping Beauty, and in Sleeping Beauty, the evil witch is democracy, and Sleeping Beauty is Germany, and
which is represented by a big old fat lady who loves beer.
Yeah, and then Hitler is the knight in shining armor, and that just goes on for too long, and it's just kind of tasteless, but the rest of it is honestly chilling.
Yeah.
I love the decision to have the Germans actually speak in German.
Yes. Yeah, it's like I don't know German at all. Or Deutsch?
German.
Yeah, German. But yeah, everyone in the short speaks in German.
And there's, I also appreciate the touch of, and we'll see this in both Disney shorts, where Disney sympathizes with the people of Germany while still demonizing the Nazis.
Yes. It's because they understand that Germany is not the problem.
Or Germans are not the problem.
Germans are not the problem. It's
Nazis are the problem.
The Nazis specifically, and their group is what is the problem.
Right.
Which we don't see out of anyone else.
If only, though, that same courtesy was given to all of our enemies.
Yeah, no.
Because Japan definitely does not get that treatment, and understandably so. There's a lot bigger of a culture divide there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
This Superman is
just
reminded
a
us
whole
that
other
what
basket of
People
issues.
back in those days just didn't even care to try to understand Asian people.
No.
Not even a little bit. So we can't even sympathize because we're all Europeans at heart.
he's getting
Well, and another thing that always drives me nuts about these, and people like to point fingers at this problem and say that it is a problem only from Disney because they want to say that he's anti-Semitic, which, do your research, maybe check your sources, that's all I'll have to say about that. But what they like to point out is the fact that Disney sympathizes with Nazi people, or not Nazi people, German people, but there's never any sympathy shown in any of these shorts for the people Nazis are attacking, like the Jews and disabled people or gay people or whatever. And that is a legitimate problem, but that is a problem that was not just Disney. That is all of America.
Yeah.
Because, real talk here, Americans weren't necessarily...
Didn't care about the people that were being attacked. They were worried about the fact that America was getting attacked.
Right.
That's all that the majority of America cared about.
Right. So a lot of these cartoons had to also spin it in that way. Especially since they were being bought by the government to sell to the American people to help out with the war.
It comes down to this concept that I've seen. It's, I don't know how to make you care about other human beings.
Right. Yeah.
It just, that's a thing that Americans are really bad at. Caring about other people.
Only when it comes down to our own is when we start to care.
Yeah. Oh, does it affect me? No, I don't
Which is
care.
why we, in these cartoons, tend to sympathize with the German people because we feel that they are also being attacked by...
That's what will happen to us if it gets taken over.
Exactly, and that's also why we don't sympathize at all with Japan, because Japan is the ones that directly attacked us.
Yeah. I'll get to that. Next up is another Disney short, also in 1943, De Fuhrer's Face.
This one actually won several awards and was considered the best short of the year.
What?
Yep. This one was very, very popular when it came out. And now it kind of lives in infamy for all the wrong reasons.
Because Donald Duck is Heiling Hitler continuously throughout the entire short.
Uh-huh.
Because Donald is the suppressed.
Yes.
Is the suppressed German citizen.
Everyman
that is having to work in the Nazi factories and stuff and
Yeah.
all that great stuff. Like we were just talking about, this is the persecuted German.
Right. It feels worse on your tongue every time.
Oh man.
Like the more you think about it, it's like, I admire what you're doing, Disney. You're doing a lot better than what Warner is doing. But still.
Wow, that just tastes awful saying
Doesn't
that.
it? Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck. No. And he's making bullets. And stuff. And then he wakes up because it was all a dream.
It was all a dream, and he's got, like, American...
He's
everything.
overly American.
All the American flags everywhere. And he's like, boy, am I glad to be a citizen of the United States of America.
And that's where it ends.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about this one.
I mean, I think like I said before, I think it's infamous for all the wrong reasons. People seem to only know this short because Donald hails Hitler like 50 billion times in the short. And that's really not the takeaway from it. The takeaway is supposed to be Nazis are scary and bad. Isn't it nice we don't live in a Nazi-ruled country? And then with some actually, like, decently clever humor that does not just rely on stereotypes.
Yeah, no.
Which is, thank God, thank you, Disney.
Yeah, it's like when Donald is having his breakfast, it's like that's some legitimate commentary on the fact that the German people were starving during the war.
Yeah.
It's like he had the tiniest bit of coffee.
Yeah, which he hid away.
He hid away so that no one else can see that he had that. And all he had for food was a literal piece of wood in the shape of bread.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's okay. There you go. That's some good commentary. That's
It's like I always see this one on people's or on the internet's like list of like, oh man, weird World War II propaganda films that'll make you feel awkward, and it's like, really, if this one is on the top of your list, you've not watched enough of these, because this one's honestly not that bad.
Yeah.
There are still some nasty stereotypes at the beginning of it.
Yeah, like when the actual like band is parading around, it's got some bad
More so
stuff.
stereotype designs than necessarily actions in that one.
Yeah.
But there's only so much I can say and over and over and over again. I hate it. That
So let's
This was
just
a thing.
move on. Let's try to get through these because we still have more.
yeah.
Next up is Tokyo Jokio.
And if that name doesn't make your insides curl.
Note how they couldn't even spell Tokyo correct.
Yeah.
Fuck everything.
Is that your note?
No, my note on this one was just a long string of capital A's. Ah! This is just showing how incompetent Japanese people are. That's the joke. That's the joke. Over and over and over again for 10 minutes.
And it's not strung together by any kind of story. It ends very abruptly.
It just kind of ends. And it's not funny. It's like only one or two of these could be considered like, okay, that was kind of a little tee-hee funny.
Yeah,
but like,
the one joke I think that is kind of funny is the when they go over, it's like, this is our fire department. Oh no, they're too late, or something like that. It's like, oh, son of a gun.
and
Too late.
the fire department, the anti-fire crew is burned down.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
But
like
that's also a joke on, like, Japan has earthquakes and tsunamis, and so there's a lot of fire. Yeah.
the only one that I found almost funny is the joke of like, this submarine was released a week early. So
And then they're still trying to put it
they're
together.
still putting it together as it's going underwater.
Yeah.
That was a little funny.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is told as though it's like a television broadcast to the Japanese people. And so the whole thing is done in horribly racist, like, audio. Like, I don't even want to pretend to do it.
Fake Japanese accents.
And every single
Phrase is
Japan-
like, oh, please, blah, blah, blah.
but also every single Japanese person shown in this,
This is just a horrible stereotype.
horrible looking, with the overly large buck teeth and the glasses. Every single one.
I want to reiterate here that I would not have a problem with these if they were making fun of the quote-unquote, the bad people.
The military, specifically, or something.
Japan's leaders of the time. It's when you demonize an entire people, an entire country living under that military, living under that government.
That's the problem.
That's when there is a problem. And I know the American people just needed a laugh. It's wartime. It's hard. But this is not the kind of thing to laugh at.
No.
So anyway.
I also had one other note here that was pretty much saying that the Looney Tunes lean hard into the racism.
Mm-hmm.
So much harder than Disney. Disney actually had a filter and like, no, that's too racist. Don't do it.
Right. I wrote down something similar. My notes for this one was just, God damn it. Japan obviously gets no such sympathy that Germany gets. Warner cartoons are considerably more terrible than Disney's.
Mm-hmm. And it just keeps going.
Yeah.
Okay, instead of going on to the next short, as you were expecting us to do, you might have noticed that this episode is ending. That's because this episode is so long, we decided to split it into 2 pieces.
Yes, there is just a lot of shorts and a lot of thoughts and feelings we have to get through. So this is going to be broken up into 2 parts.
So you can join us back here next week for the second part and conclusion to all of these shorts. Join us back here next time because we have many more feelings about many more of these shorts.
Yes.
Oh boy, 7! Say, did you ever kill a giant? I killed 7 with 1 blow!
7!